Hey, what's up, News? Thank you for clicking on the video to see Man Vlogger. It is 3:08 a.m. and it's March the 10th. Today is the last day that my mom gets to be in rehab, um, to rehabilitate. So, if y'all watched the other vlog, she got an amputation just below her knee, and she was kept at that hospital for I think like 4 days. Then she was sent to the rehab center. Anyway, she's at the rehab center for pretty much like 2 weeks. 2 weeks, right? Then they sent a report to her insurance. I don't know what they said. Well, I sort of know what they said, but not specifically. Anyway, the insurance said that since she has plateaued, that them paying for her to stay there ends on Sunday. Or the last day is Saturday, so I got to pick her up today, in 7 hours. Anyway, so the problem with that, what I got from them, what they told me was that reason why they said that she plateaued is because she wasn't gaining strength in her other leg and her arms, and she wasn't really healing in her wound. Only been 2 weeks there. So those are the issues. They sent that report to insurance, and insurance said what they said, and I can understand how insurance would have took what they said. It was like, all right, well, it's no point in paying you guys because you're not doing nothing. And when they told me that just 2 days ago, which left me no time to try and prepare for anything, when they told me that, they, oh my God, hold on. Yeah, so when they told me that, it like caught me off guard because I was under the assumption that she was going to stay there for at least a couple months, and just that's how it was going to go. And so they just threw me into this, and I had no idea. Then they start coming at me all aggressive. I had the financial person talk to me that way. I had the social worker talk to me that way. Then I had the head, what do you call, her head nurse coming at me all hostile and aggressively, like I'm the person to blame. They so because that ended, they wanted me to sign up for medical assistance and to give all her money to them. She pays for rent and that stuff, and I got her money, but I checked with medical assistance. There's a threshold, and she makes more than that threshold, and so all they told me that they could pay is for outside assistance. And so because of that, there's no private sector that will help with it. Um, I I signed her up for Minshare. Minshare won't help. Long-term elderly care won't help with that. I called and got a hold of the ombudsman. The ombudsman, when she heard what I said, then she called over there to the rehab facility, and they kind of told it differently and make it sound like, oh, we're doing everything that we could and blah blah blah. Anyway, so it made me like, it came back on me. So like I had to do something, and all it was is like I had to call these specific places, see if they could help. Nobody can help. And so the situation that I faced is having to take her out today when she had a catheter in, and her limb is not healed and she doesn't have the strength. And then I was asking him, I was like, well, why weren't you working on strengthening her muscles? Why weren't you doing that type of rehab with her? And they just like came at me because I questioned their process, and they're like, well, how do you? And they just like threw it out the side, like, how are you gonna get her out of here? Like that is unsafe. We're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to. This is the nurse. I'm gonna have to write a report on you for elderly engagement. Basically, what she was saying is like, was like, nah, that's not gonna happen. And she was like, that's what we have to do because you're taking her from the facility without medical approval. And so we're gonna write that report, then you're gonna have to sign off on it. I'm like, I'm not signing off on anything like that because you guys are the ones who told her insurance that she plateaued when there's a lot more work that needs to be done and should be done. But you guys are the ones who messed up. And they're being all argumentative with me, and then even with the financial lady, she's like, you should have got this taken care of. I was like, how am I supposed to know specifically what to take care of when you have all the information? You should have provided that information to me because I obviously did the wrong one. So you should have been there and said you should have did this and this is what you need to get ready just to prepare. And they didn't do that with me. And she was like, well, yeah, I should have. But yeah, she was trying to come at me aggressively. And the same with the social worker. She was coming at me aggressively, saying I should have done this, I should have did this. And like, hey, you guys told me that everything was gonna be okay and you guys are gonna take care of my mom. Not 2 weeks later you're saying that she's plateaued and nothing can be done. Then I come to find out, I go talk to my mom today, and she said they just finally started doing leg exercises yesterday. Why just start now? Trying to cover themselves. I feel like it, but it's just like totally frustrating. The fact that all the resources can't do nothing, won't do nothing. She's not going to get assistance, and the survival rate for a person under her condition, her health, being diabetic, but then also her age and not having that constant caring for her survival rate is very low. A bunch of our relatives up north from the res said that's how their grandma died, that's how their aunt died, that's how their mom died. All these deaths. And even in our family, that's how my auntie died, and my mom's aunties, and just that type of stuff where they go to get rehab and they get sent out home too early, then they don't have no one to care for them, so they end up getting whatever type of infection and all of that, so they get sick and die. And so yeah, I'm faced with that situation coming up. But one of the social workers told me, well, if none of those resources help you, all you can like really do, like after you get her out of there, take her straight to the emergency room and hopefully some sort of process takes place. And yeah, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I hope something happens. There's a lot of prayers being for her for something to happen. And yeah, what that the the person I talked to yesterday or today actually, he said, well, don't, because he's a foreigner. He's like, don't you in America tend to like just let bills be bills and never pay them? I was like, I don't know. Some people sort of do, but it's gonna come back at you. And like with me being my mom's power of attorney now, if what she can't pay falls on me, then also that would be in the consideration of the funding for her to stay at that place. It's $500 a day. In 30 days, that's $15,000. Like what? I get it, but so that's the price that it's going to cost. And so, like, if she did get medical assistance, they're going to take her money, then they're going to take my money in order for her to stay there, and that's just not economically good for me and us. And you know, this is so frustrating and confusing. Um, but also like they were getting mad at me because like I said, she had a catheter in, and her whole situation. She's in a wheelchair. She doesn't have the strength to stand up. And I said, well, how are you going to get her out here? That's not possible, because they got a lift, which like they put on two parts of her, and it's a machine and it lifts her. That's how they move her places. And they're like, and we have two people who do that, because it's hard to do. And I didn't tell all of them, but I said, I told a guy today, I was like, I can do it. I know I can do it. I used to pick her up all the time when she had both limbs. All she needs to do is like get up a little bit, and since they removed the catheter, I don't got to worry about putting that on her lap. But she just needs to stand up just a little bit. Then I can pick her up easily and set her into my truck. Then that's how I'll get her to the emergency room, get a wheelchair, put her on that wheelchair again, then get her inside, and hopefully something comes of that. But yeah, it was a very stressful day. I had a stress headache. What was that? Thursday? Thursday night I found out. Wasn't able to call places. Friday I was able to start calling places and found out nothing can be done with anything, which is crazy. Um, yeah, nothing can be done. So then a Saturday, nothing else could be done. So then all I can do is, if she has to come home, I told my sister, you don't have to worry. Like, I'm not sending her over there because I know she won't be able to take care for her. And I said, I have sort of experience, because I had to take care of my second youngest son when he had his knee surgery and got plates put in there. So I had to lift him and carry him and move him. And he's a lot bigger than my mom. And I understand the situation. Like, I'm going to have to learn how to take care of that that problem on her knee. But I think I'd have a better chance of my sister doing that, or a far better chance. Then I just told her, I said, if she dies, it's on me. Like, because like, you don't have to worry about that. And even my mom knew that. She's like, don't worry. I already know the survival rate, because she knows the family members that passed on from it. And yeah, it's just stressful, you know. And also, just there's an indigenous thing that happens that we tend to believe in, and it kind of occurs, which is when a new life comes into the family, then another one leaves the family. And so my second youngest, he just sent me a what do you call it, when I take that picture of the baby inside the mom. He sent me that last week, just to prove that they're having a baby. And so there's that situation. But then I thought of all of this, and I'm like, oh man, that better not happen. You know, that new life is coming. It's going to be a beautiful thing, but it's going to be a super, super sad thing for me and everybody to see my mom go. And I was like, I'm gonna try really hard not to let that happen. I'm trying, you know. I just wanted to talk about it, get it out. Today's the big day to like really try and take some sort of last action stuff. And yeah, I don't know.